Have you ever had a dream that felt so real, you woke up wondering if you had actually visited another place?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is not just a dream that your brain made up, but something that felt sacred, like you stepped into a moment that wasn't bound by time. Today, on Tiny Table Talk, we're diving into something people across cultures talk about but rarely understand: the white light dreams. So these are dreams where people encounter loved ones, divine presence, or messages that feel bigger than the mind itself. And after that, we're going to talk about something much darker: the folklore of amarres, or love bindings, and the dangerous spiritual consequences that can follow them when people try to control another person's heart. Because sometimes the difference between love and obsession is the difference between freedom and a cage.
In other words, some of y'all a little toxic. No, I'm playing.
It's giving really, really toxic, and some people get carried away
Yeah.
and then end up cursing their whole bloodline.
Yeah. You know what? Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
that is one outcome. We're gonna be looking at a different kind of outcome today, but that is one outcome that can
Yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I agree with
Crazy.
you. I mean, you never know. You might be going through so many things because somebody before you many moons ago went through something themselves and it just cursed your future life.
Oh, we gotta cover generational curses
That's what I'm saying.
in another episode. So, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the dream, the white light dream. This is a dream that I had about a year ago. It was, I think, I wanna say I journaled April 11th, 2025.
Oh, okay. So yeah, a year ago. Almost.
So, a little backstory: I was at the very beginning of my spiritual awakening, if we want to call it that.
Okay.
Um, and I was going through the end of postpartum depression, and I was learning a lot about my higher self. And then part of going through all of that is actually healing all the parts of you that need to be healed, because you cannot do that from a grounded place if you are not healed. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
So, anyways, now we're going to jump into that. Okay. There are dreams, and then there are dreams that feel like visitations, kind
Mhm.
of like the one we discussed last episode, right?
Yeah.
Dreams that don't feel like imagination, but like a doorway opened for a moment between worlds. I want to share one of those dreams with you. So on April 11th, 2025, I fell asleep early with my daughter. It was around 9 o'clock, which is pretty early for us. Back then, she was only like, what, maybe 10 months old?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
something like that. I woke up again around 11:38 from a dream that felt so real, so emotionally vivid. And then when I woke up, when I woke up, I felt like I had been somewhere sacred. So, in this dream, I saw the baby that I lost in 2022, right? Yeah, 2022. So, he came up to me, he was in my arms basically, and he held my face the way that my daughter does sometimes, like when she was a baby and she used to just,
Mhm.
or like when she was asleep and she would like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that. Um, so like, yeah, gently with both hands, like a child who loves you without question, right? And I remember saying to him, it was a little boy. I remember saying to him, I don't understand why you couldn't stay with us. I don't understand why you were taken away. So there was grief in that moment, but also love. And then something happened. I heard a voice.
The voice.
There was the voice, not coming from a person standing in front of me, but almost like the air around me was speaking. And the voice said, "It's okay. He's with you always and he loves you." And then I noticed something about the space around us. I start looking around. Everything is filled with white light, not blinding, not harsh, but warm, soft, peaceful white light. And I look down at my baby and he's dressed in white. And then behind him approaches a man who take I give him to the man. That man is also dressed in white, but I couldn't see his face.
Mm.
And when I woke up, I remembered something I had just read the night before. So, that night before, I had just finished the story of Exodus.
Okay.
And this is where Moses is experiencing the presence of God as light in all his glory.
Yeah.
And he's not allowed to see his face.
Mhm.
So, only the light, only the presence. And that made me wonder something. Did my mind create a symbol it had already known? Or did spirit choose a form that my heart would recognize?
Dang.
Yeah.
That is deep.
I woke up crying. I was crying till like midnight and then I went back to sleep.
That is so deep. Like, that's very, very
Mhm.
like, you left me, like, speechless right now, to be honest, like, for real.
It's I mean back then it was just like
Yeah.
I was speechless too. I was like, what did I just see? What did I just experience? This was not just a dream. Um, but I feel like it played a part in how everything continued to unfold for me up to this day, right?
Right.
So, Lily, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
When you hear a dream like that, where someone sees a loved one surrounded by light and hears a comforting message, do you think that's the mind processing grief? Or do you think that dreams can actually become a space where the soul connects with something beyond us?
Um, I think that it can okay, hear me out. I think that it can be both.
Mhm.
However, definitely a distinguish between the 2 because you said the first one is repeat the first part again? You said that it could be
The first one is when you hear of a dream like that, where someone sees a loved one surrounded by light and hears a comforting message, do you think that that's the mind processing grief?
right, okay, so that could be definitely you processing and your conscious giving you an opportunity to process it in a very, like, calm, healthy, peaceful way.
In my
How
sleep.
yeah. However, I feel like your dream was probably more on the spiritual side, and I only say this because I've heard of dreams like this too, and just the simple fact that you described it exactly the way, like, Moses and Exodus and all that stuff, like, I remembered reading that specific part in the Bible, and I was like, "Wow." Like and even when I watched the documentary on Netflix, I was like, "That's, like, literally perfect, representation of what the Bible describes," right? And so I think when you start saying that you experienced the white light, and then not only that, but you had the white being show up to you. Now keep in mind, in the Bible, God refers to himself as I am, and he's always presented in like the mountains, like for example, Moses in the mountains, clouds are around him, nobody can see him. You can only see like what's inside him and God, right? So I think genuinely, I think yours was more spiritual. I don't know and I can't say it was like God himself that appeared to you, but I definitely think it was some kind of form of like an angel that appeared
Mhm.
itself to you and it was giving you that comfort and so that you would know that your baby's okay
Mhm.
and he's here with us.
Yeah. I feel like I did process it that way. At that time, it was like, it was reassuring to me to know that, that soul was only here for a moment, but like went on to, to heaven, as all babies do.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, I do think it's a little bit of both too. I feel like I encountered the Holy Spirit.
Yes, that's what I would say.
I find it so beautiful because in my dreams do that to me. I process the most and I grow the most in my dreams and I surrendered my child to the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
So,
It kind
I
of reminds me of that one video I sent you the other day where it was that woman who said she was an ex witch and she was talking to that one podcaster
Oh,
and she was
yeah.
like, I had never picked up the Bible, I had never studied it, I wasn't like a firm believer in God and everything. And then she had a dream of 'cause I think she said that she could I could be wrong, but I think she said that she could feel people, like, feel presence and, like, see presence, talk to the dead and all that.
Mhm.
And she went to sleep, and she had a dream where this, like, white ball of light, like, entered her room, and it kept telling her, "I am,
Mhm.
I am," and that's the only thing that it said. So then she woke up and she's like, "I don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah." Further on and throughout that day, she was literally watching some cartoon that, references itself to, like, Moses and Exodus and all that stuff, and that white being came out on the TV while her kid was watching it, and the white being goes, "I am." And then she finally picked up the Bible and started reading it and then
Mhm.
realized that God refers to himself in the Bible multiple times as "I am." I remember when I heard that story, I was like when she first said "I am," I was like, "Girl, that's God right there."
Yeah. It's so great. I feel like people often encounter the Holy Spirit and don't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said in your dream that you didn't like, the voice was kind of, like, from the air instead of, like, from an actual being, that
Mhm.
had to have been, like, some kind of Holy Spirit, angel, or something.
Yeah. So, most people don't we should teach not for people not to go in and label things immediately, right? But we'll look at the symbols too, but I feel like that's what it was, right? And it's comforting and reassuring to me. I've been able to heal from my grief in that way and move forward at peace in that way.
Question:
Yeah.
before you had that dream, you might have answered it already or not, but did you already feel like you were starting that healing process, or did you feel like after the miscarriage, like, did you kinda move on from it, or were you still holding on to it?
So, yes, I was still holding on to it, but there was a chain of events after this stream that actually really solidified everything and helped me heal from it.
Mm,
So it's kind of like this dream did start, it happened so coincidentally at the beginning of my spiritual journey.
right.
And then the things that unfolded after that really taught me a lot about the souls coming that to earth and their departure.
Mm,
So I can jump into that real quick. But basically, what I came to learn in the months coming after that dream, I started reading that book right there. It's the one that says man on it, the grand symbol of the mysteries,
okay,
right there.
yeah.
That is a must read. That is a must read, y'all. If you're into this kind of stuff, that's a must read. Um, it shows you, it explains everything, really. One of the things that I learned is that there are souls that choose to just dip in and out.
Hmm,
So they come in, already knowing their fate, already knowing their life path. All souls already come in knowing their fate and life path. It's our job to remember that once we're
right.
on this earth.
Yes.
That's why they call it you don't become this person, you remember who you already were.
Mm, damn. Oh, shoot.
I be remembering in my dreams a lot, that's what I'm saying. But, I learned that souls choose to come to the earth, just to get a feel for the realm and dip right out. And a
Yeah.
lot of the times you'll see that in miscarriage, in what is it called? Like stillbirth, like young infants.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
you'll see it in, any kind of pregnancy loss, any kind of even like people who elect to have abortions. So
Mhm,
like those souls already come knowing their fate because they just want to dip into the realm and out,
mhm.
into this world and out. And so or maybe that was their life purpose.
That yeah, that's true because if you think about it, there's always that saying of where how do they say it? It's like some people are lessons, some people are blessings, which that can go with a general person, but also in this situation, I feel like it plays a factor too.
Yeah. I mean, that falls into the symbolism of a child in a dream too. So we're about
Really?
to jump into that too.
Okay.
But yeah, souls do, they choose to come into this earth. They already know their fate. They already know their life story, their purpose. And then they ascend onto their new mission or onto the out to the heavens.
Right.
So that is what I learned reading that book. And that's where I got the concept of how the soul ascends from the body
Mhm.
after death and what happens after death. Um, So learning that and then seeing a lot of other information, related to that, not just in the book, but around, other areas that I'm reading, other social medias, like other people who believe like that. Um, and then even talking to other spiritualists, other religious people, other like I talk to all kinds of people and hearing pretty much the same thing, reassured me and gave me a lot of peace with it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then we'll jump into the symbolism
Okay.
then. Let's see. The child, right? In dream symbolism, children represent many things. They represent innocence, the soul, unfinished love, and sometimes souls that were only meant to visit briefly. For many spiritual traditions, a miscarriage or infant loss does not mean that the soul was taken away. It can mean that the soul came only to touch your life and change your heart. Some souls come for years, some come for moments, but they still leave a mark. And that's so true.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's so true. Because I feel like I had this whole concept of, let's see, I don't know, I had such a different concept of living before I got pregnant the first time versus after I got pregnant.
What do you think those differences were?
So prior to me getting pregnant the first time, I was very free willed and free minded,
Mm,
kind of a crazy girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all have that side. Why we finna lie here?
I had no kind of relationship with God. I was raised in the church, like I've told people, and then after that, it was kind of like Crystal was really lost. Crystal was
Mm,
also very chaotic. Crystal was going through a lot in her head. Crystal was unstable in her head. Um, Crystal was angry a lot.
mm. I
Yeah,
felt,
yeah.
yeah, I can relate. Yeah.
So then after that happened, after the first pregnancy, I feel like that really like changed my perspective and it showed me not just to be grateful, but the beauty of life itself. So I started dipping into my spirituality then. And I started creating a relationship with God. I started looking at what I can do to better myself in order to be ready to receive my child, my next one that came, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and then I became obsessed. Like my mind shifted and became obsessed with getting pregnant again, which is still not the best thing to do.
Right. Right.
Because I was still chaotic, I was still unstable, I was starting to lean into where I'm supposed to be leaning to, but I was doing it ungrounded, completely ungrounded, full of grief, full of anger, full of why?
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant again, and that I feel like I took it no, I took it for granted, yeah. I feel like I took pregnancy for granted, and I just kinda like how would you say it? I didn't take care of myself the way I should have, right? I was in a high demand job.
Yeah.
I was still chaotic in my head. I'm going through prenatal rage.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
always angry.
Yeah.
I've been angry.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, I think that I did not learn what the purpose of my first pregnancy was until I had this dream, right? So yeah, I see the symbolism there, what it was meant to do, what was meant to happen, right? Then the white light itself. The white light in dreams is almost universally associated with peace, healing, and divine presence. So yeah, I saw it as the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I surrendered my child to the Holy Spirit. And in many mystical traditions, the white light represents a place where grief dissolves and spirit becomes whole again. And I did see that dream as a healing point
Mhm.
that started to begin to make my soul, my spirit whole again.
Mhm.
Because after that, I dove deeply, deeply into my spiritualism.
You know what this reminds me of? like all of this that you're talking about, and then like your experience from before the first baby, and then after the first baby, then Rory, and then after her. I feel like this is like the perfect example of, because you said that you still weren't taking care of yourself the way you should have, or that the way you wish you would have, right?
Mhm.
I feel like this is a perfect example of, eventually, whether you like it or not, you're gonna reach a point where you have nowhere else to turn but to God. And He will force you. He will force you. And you're gonna feel like trash. You're gonna go through like the worst things ever. You're gonna have horrible thoughts, just overall bad. And at some point, something will force you and click you into thinking, you know what? I've hit rock bottom. I hear you, God. I feel you. Let me turn to you now. Let me find you the way I should have done it a long time ago.
Girl, amen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because again, we were just talking about Saturn return,
Yeah.
and then all of this is happening as I turn 29.
Mhm. Yeah, there
So
you
this
go.
last year has been crazy for me. Not only like everything I was experiencing up until the point I turned 29, but even after 29, I kept getting knocked and knocked and knocked all the way freaking down. Like I'm barely starting to see the light. The light at
The
the end of the
light,
tunnel.
the light at the end of the tunnel.
Which is good, which is to me like is a sign and affirmation that I'm doing now what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
It really is. I feel so good. But yeah. So yeah, that's the light. Then there's the faceless man. Um, when a figure in a dream has no visible face, it often means that the mind cannot fully comprehend what it's seeing. And what better way to not comprehend something that it is with the most glorious thing of all, the Holy
Right,
Spirit, right?
right.
Um, sometimes the figure can represent an ancestor, a guardian spirit, or divine presence. Your mind may translate that presence into a human form, but the face will remain hidden
Mhm.
because the truth of that presence is larger than the human mind can hold.
I was just about to say that. Like, h God, the Holy Spirit, everything is so powerful, so out of this world that we can't even grasp that concept
Mhm.
until we've reached a level that we can.
And to me, it was all so beautiful. I mean, there was obviously there was sadness, but the grief in the dream was experienced from a what do they say? From a grounded state.
Like
Yeah.
an understanding.
Yeah, like an understanding at this point, but I still wanted to know why,
Mhm.
but not from an anger, from a standpoint of anger. It was just a standpoint of why, you know?
Mhm. Wow.
So,
That's like, that's a really, really deep, very meaningful dream right there. Very eye-opening.
mhm. Yeah, for me it was too. Yeah, the real story of the dream is not just the symbols, obviously, it's the emotional journey. As we've been talking about, this dream began with grief, a mother basically asking the question that every grieving parent will ask why? But the dream moves from grief to reassurance and then to peace.
Right.
This is the emotional alchemy of the dream. Grief enters the dream as lead, but through love, it transforms into gold.
Wow.
Oh, I love that because I gold
I got the gold candles up in here too.
candle.
That's so, oh my gosh, powerful. Very powerful.
Yes, girl. Let's see. So, why do you think that so many people across different cultures report seeing white light in dreams or near death experiences?
I honestly think, and I already said it, but I really do think that that is a sign from, obviously, a higher being that's telling you like, "Hey, look for me. I'm right here. I've been here. I'm showing you the signs. I'm giving you that opening. You just got to decide yourself when you're ready to actually do that."
Mhm.
And it's so crazy because, like, obviously we all have free will, and there's people that can see so many that can be given so many signs and be shown, like, it can be thrown directly into your face, and those people, me being one of them, will still decide to not turn around and face the truth and seek that higher meaning in life.
Mhm.
So,
And, I'm curious because if any listeners are any stargazers
oh yeah,
are
stargazers.
are, have had those moments before, we would love to hear about that. If you wouldn't mind us sharing it, we would love to hear about it, because I think it's very beautiful and it's part of your testimony as a individual who becomes one with, the God within them, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think those testimonies are just beautiful to hear, and they're inspiring to people who have not yet reached that point yet, and they're inspiring to people who even have surpassed that point.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps everybody motivated. So, I
Mhm.
would love if anybody would love to, submit their story, we would love to share that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love hearing I like to know that it's not just me and you out here having these crazy dreams over here and stuff, like,
It's
I
not,
know.
and not enough people talk about it, I say,
Exactly.
because people see you have people that go, "You shouldn't be digging this much into it. Just understand that it's God, and that's it. Surrender yourself." But then you have people that, like us, who want to dig in deeper and understand it and apply it to even other areas of our lives, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think it's important to have open conversations about
Yeah.
things like this because a lot of us don't understand what's going on when it happens.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah, and it can play a lot of factors, like you said, in other parts of our lives. I mean, I didn't think, I thought dreams were just dreams and that's it. That's just like and then for a minute I thought every dream, which I still kind of believe it. I just haven't done enough research on it. But I think some dreams can be your life in a different universe
mhm,
or like a different timeline, like the Avengers and like the different timelines, like something like that. But I also think that dreams are definitely a way of our subconscious selves healing ourselves and trying to guide us to a higher frequency in our conscious self. So,
that is the goal, is to carry a high frequency. You don't want access to low vibrations.
yeah, yeah.
That's where the demons come in.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And then, speaking of that kind of stuff, why do you think that dreams involving grief sometimes feel so peaceful instead of sad?
I think that falls I think that it falls a little bit with um the obviously the stages of grief.
Mhm.
And I think that people can have dreams in each stage of grief. And I think if you've reached a dream where you feel almost healed, even though it's still sad, I think that's just your spirit telling you, your spirit and your soul telling you, like, you've healed from this. It's okay. You know? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I think about that.
Yeah, I know you're right. I feel like you can't have dreams in every stage of grief, and they all look different too.
Yeah.
And I do think that the peace in it comes from a place of, I just miss that person, or I
Mhm.
just miss what could have been.
Right.
I feel like when dreams come as anything other than peace, it's more on from a standpoint of maybe even guilt.
Mhm.
I think that that's where the dreams get very scary sometimes, or just very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, girl, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack right there.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot.
Now, the dream we just talked about shows something beautiful, right? Love that exists freely, love that continues even beyond life. But the next story we're going to talk about shows the opposite side of love magic, because not all spiritual practices are rooted in love, some are rooted in control. And that's where the story of amarres begins.
Right. So I did a little bit of research for y'all. And it took me a while, by the way, because I don't know about you, but when y'all hear like scary stories or like urban legends that are like in English, no offense, but there's no like, I don't know, it's not as scary as whenever you read it in Spanish, you know? Spanish, I feel like Spanish has more like emotion into it and like the words they use and all that stuff.
'Cause Spanish is beautiful.
Exactly.
Even though it
So
mine está todo mocho.
no, for real. So I was like, when I was doing my research, I was doing it wrong. I was over here looking it up in English, but switch the tables because your girl can speak and speak two languages over here. So I found one in Spanish.
You're gonna read it in Spanish?
No, I'm not reading in
Oh.
Spanish. No, y'all. I promise you, if I read it in Spanish, I'm gonna sound like a 2-year-old.
Oh,
But
Lord.
I was able to go through the story and reiterate it in English so
Okay,
that I can be able to tell y'all this story.
okay. So should I go over what an amarre is really quick?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Um, okay. So in many parts of Latin America, there's a practice known as amarres. The word literally means to tie or to bind. People often ask spiritual workers for amarres when they want someone to fall in love with them or come back to them or to stop loving someone else. But here's something that every curandera, every bruja who understands energy will tell you. An amarre is never white magic. Never.
Never.
Because love cannot be forced. Love is something that grows through trust, loyalty, shared life, and the daily choice to remain beside someone. An amarre does not create love, it creates attachment. Attachment that overrides the natural will of another person. And when free will is violated, the energy remembers.
True story. All right. So now that we have kind of like a basis of what an amarre is, I'll take off with a story that I found. This was actually told by a curandera that lives in Mexico City. She has been a healer basically all of her life. She's been able to speak to spirits. She reads tarot cards, and her main focus now today is healing people and just trying to help them like heal the inner child. And obviously, in situations like amarres, she's there to help as well. This specific story, she did say that it was one of the first amarres that she's ever had to deal with. And in the story, she kind of goes into detail of she was questionable about being able to help this girl who was needing help. But luckily, she was able to give that to her and give her a peace of mind and be able to live a little bit more peaceful of a life. So the story starts off by explaining that she kind of goes into detail of our destinies come with some kind of purpose that we do not know what it is. We do not remember what our past lives are because we have to live consciously in the current present, having our own experience with our free will from the moment you're born till the day that you die. So just keep that in mind, y'all. So after okay, so about 6 years ago, she had a young lady who told her if she could meet with her cousin. The young lady said her cousin could talk to dead people and see them and they would follow her around. The cousin's name was Maria. So Maria makes an appointment and meets with this healer. The healer says when she first saw and met Maria, she found it odd that it was extremely hot outside, but Maria had a sweater that covered all the way up to her neck. So kind of like is it called a turtleneck or something like that?
Yeah.
It was like all the way up here and it was like super hot outside, right? So the healer sits with Maria and is about to begin reading her tarot cards when Maria suddenly decides to change her mind and about the reading. Maria said she was scared because the last time she got her cards read, it caused more spirits to appear to her and to talk to her. And she obviously had that power, but she was scared of it because she didn't know how to deal with it in the proper way. And so the healer said, yes, that would be true because when any person reads cards, they're opening up a channel. The healer tells her, I can also read through a bowl of water. So they just begin to talk. She's like, just tell me your story from the beginning all the way till current, like present time. So Maria begins with her explaining an accident that had happened to her. At this moment, the healer began to look into the water and saw Maria in a hospital bed. Maria explains one day a man entered her home around 6 p.m., maybe around 7 p.m. In the evening one day. Maria said she was inside the house when this man entered the home. Maria says the man grabbed her by the shirt, pulled her in closer, and cuts her throat open with a knife. The man throws her to the ground and runs out the house. At this moment, Maria shows the healer her scar on her throat, and that's why she wears the shirts the way she does to cover the scar. And so, Maria begins to cry because this incident still caused her a lot of pain emotionally. The healer says at this moment she could physically feel Maria's pain of what she lived through and the depression Maria had felt for so long. The healer explained it felt like the kind of pain you feel when someone betrays you. Maria says the neighbors saw the man run out the apartment full of blood all over his clothes and see Maria's doors open. Soon the ambulance arrives on the scene and takes Maria to the hospital. On the road to the hospital, Maria dies. The ambulance arrives to the hospital. The doctors spend about 11 hours in surgery attempting to save Maria's life, but soon tell the family it's time to say goodbye because they believed Maria was not going to make it. It's unexplained how exactly, but she survives and she lives from this accident. After this incident, Maria began to see things, hear things, feel things, and had dreams, all coming from like the other side, like from the dead and all that stuff. And so the healer said she was scared because she has a lot of experience helping people, and before Maria, she had helped a lot of people, but she had never had someone like Maria seek help from her. The healer began to teach Maria how to ground herself using breathing techniques, meditation, everything you can think of for grounding somebody. But the healer genuinely felt like she wasn't going to be able to help Maria. Maria had already gone through a long term psychological treatment and still couldn't heal from this incident. Maria had a lot of depression, anxiety, all that, etc. And so the healer explained to her she didn't think whatever this incident meant for Maria still wasn't finished, and that's why she continued to suffer and went through like the treatment and couldn't be healed. And so the healer explained to Maria that she needed to close the cycle to be able to move forward. The healer explained in order for a plant to grow, you have to clean out the old dirt. And the more she did, like the limpiezas and the cleansings, it wasn't enough for Maria. Like she would do barrida de ojo, right? And then
Mhm.
like all the other stuff, and it still wasn't enough. And so, let's see. Sorry, I lost my spot. All right, and then the healer recommended a regression for Maria to do. So Maria went to go do it with a different curandero. So for those of y'all that don't know what regression is, it's basically like a spiritual ritual, I guess you could say. It's often used in like Mexican culture and stuff to basically you sit the person down, and what they'll do is help the person revisit their past lives or their past experiences that have basically damaged them or anything like that, and to be able to help and heal from what has happened to them. So that, like, you revisit it, acknowledge it, go through it, realize where it's all rooting from, and then you move forward from it. So once she did the whole regression, Maria learns a lot from the ritual. She learns that the man that entered her home and slit her throat. This one caught me very off guard, y'all. But the man who slit her throat was her ex husband from a past life. Literally, like I'm talking like before this lifetime. Like you were, she was born in a different lifetime, and in that lifetime was where she met that husband, right? And in this lifetime, it followed her. Like she died in the last one, and then she was reborn, and it followed her here. And so Maria says in the past life, her ex husband and her mutually agreed to an amarre to each other. So the ex husband followed her into this lifetime and found her. The ex husband realized she was in love with another man, married, and had a child already. The ex husband said, No eres para mí, no eres para nadie. So you're not for me, then you're not going to be for anybody else. And after learning this, Maria had a mental breakdown and regressed even more with her mental, emotional, and spiritual health to the point where she could not even look at her husband. Maria did not want her husband near her because she was scared. Everything that involved love, being with a person, scared her a lot. The healer said once they identified it was an amarre, it took several other curanderos to break this tie between Maria and her ex husband from past life. So yeah, that's the story. She goes into a little bit of detail of, the energy will always return and it's always transformed from one lifetime to another. The amarres of love is not coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of passion or obsession or control. So, yeah, that was the story that I found. Can you believe that?
A soul tie.
A soul tie like that they both mutually agreed on. And the more that I was like reading onto this story, I get why the healer felt like when she first met Maria that she felt the pain, but she described it as a betrayal. But it's because they both mutually agreed in the lifetime before to always be connected to each other. And then they come to this lifetime and he's like, what the hell? Like, you have a whole new life with a different guy. And he betrays her. He kills her. Well, he doesn't kill her, but he hurts her? So the question is, obviously, this is a story, right? I wasn't there to actually like experience it or anything. I do highly believe in it, but
Yeah.
do you believe amarres are capable of going from one life to another?
Well, yeah, they're soul ties. And it could also explain, not every situation ends up like hers, where this person got obsessive and killed her basically.
Yeah.
But it could very well explain why, people go into, they grow up into their life and they fall in love, many times. People are going to fall in love many times. And, for the men, the concept is that their first love is going to be their true love or whatever, right? Even though they move on and settle with someone else, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Women will always have a true love as well.
Right.
Then you're gonna have those people, and I mean, you're lucky if you end up together again and it's again a mutual love,
Right.
right? You're lucky. Or you can end up like the people who say, I have a casi algo,
Mhm.
the right connection, right person, wrong time,
Mm.
and then it just never happens.
There's just like too many factors playing against y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
It explains all those stories,
Yeah.
but does everybody actually do a soul tie in a past life is the question too.
That's yeah. Because like it makes you wonder and think like here currently in this lifetime, if you've ever fallen in love with somebody, could y'all have had an actual tie in a different lifetime? Like, is it true whenever y'all say, "Oh, you're my soulmate. You're my twin flame." It makes you question that.
Yep.
It makes you question that a lot.
It's like it's like those loves that you cannot explain.
Right. It's like I know you're bad for me. I know you're wrong for me.
That's a karmic tie.
Oh, well,
There's a difference there.
never mind about that.
There are ties that, people are meant to, well, I mean, you accumulate karmic debt, right?
Mhm.
In other lifetimes. Whatever it is you did cost you. And you
Right.
didn't pay it off in that lifetime, so it traveled with you into the next.
Mhm.
That's what they call karmic debt. And there are karmic ties.
Yeah.
Souls that were together in a past life that come into a new life. You probably end up with the same soul again, but you guys are no good for each other.
Yeah.
You're meant to pay something back or you're meant to learn something that you didn't learn in the last life.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy shit.
Which, okay, I know this is like going a little bit off topic, but into a different direction still. It makes you wonder about the theory of when babies are born. When babies are born, what do?
They cry.
Cry. And what is the first thing they probably see?
The light.
And what do you see when you die?
The light.
And what usually when you dying, if it's not like a where you accept it, what are you feeling? Sadness. Not wanting to leave this life. So when babies are born, they're crying and they see the light. And when you die, maybe you don't want to die yet and you see the light. Put one and one, 1 plus 1 is 2.
You just went a whole different
I'm
direction.
sorry, y'all. I had to put that in there because it just made me think about it.
Excuse our ADHD moment.
But it makes you question, y'all.
That's a good point.
Hear me out, y'all.
But
Hear
what
me
did
out.
that have to do with amarres?
Girl, I don't know, but
Oh my God, that was funny. Yeah, no, I believe in amarres. People do them all the freaking time. People do them intentionally, unintentionally. It's, a violation of free will. Okay. I don't practice that.
yeah.
I don't practice any of that. I'll be practicing, but I don't practice that.
I think the most dangerous part about it all is that it's like usually from a place of like obsession
Yeah.
and a lot of passion. And that's why it's so difficult. Like in this instance, it took multiple curanderos to cut that tie.
You have to imagine that soul that performed it, well, when they performed it, I mean, they agreed on it, but they were passionately in love for each other,
Yeah.
obsessed with each other. Can you imagine the people that do it now that are not only obsessed and in love, but angry?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And, they say that that's how magic works, right? It's intent.
Yeah.
It's all about the intent. So that's why amarres are so strong. They usually come with a lot of passion, not
Yeah.
always good passion either.
Yeah, no. Like some people are crazy, y'all, whether y'all believe it or not. People are crazy.
A lot of people are crazy.
A lot of people are crazy. All them toxic girlfriends and toxic boyfriends and
Y'all gotta think twice though. Y'all ain't got time to be doing that in another lifetime.
hey, yeah, for
That's
real.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
imagine like
And then no, and then imagine that you do it and then you get tired of the person and they don't want to leave.
mhm.
That's another freaking like outcome there.
Yeah.
Imagine that you think you're so in love and you perform the amarre. It works. You got what you want. And then all of a sudden you fall out of love and you're like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they ain't going nowhere.
I'm telling you, y'all. Y'all
Dude.
just need to
Okay, so you follow the guy that does the scripture talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Yes.
I follow this other guy who interviews like spiritualists, like brujas and stuff.
Yeah.
And I did hear about a story of an amarre that a bruja did for someone. But like it was a lady that came and necia que lo quería. And the bruja saw like, that this was going to cost her something and it was going to cost it was along the lines of innocence.
Mhm.
So the lady that wanted the amarre has children, right? And she warned her, she's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I do not want to do this because it's going to cost you something and it's showing me innocence. And the lady was like, no, 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 because the guy had already fallen in love with someone else and moved on and this and that. She's like, I want him now, basically. Again,
Right
with the
now.
passion, the control, the obsessions.
Right now. Right now.
Right. So I think the bruja was like, basically, like, all right, well, I warned you. You're going to sign off that I warned you, basically. I think she made her sign something. Because
Damn.
another thing that people don't realize is a lot of the time, dark magic comes with a pact.
Girl, yes. Like sidetrack to that little like story you just said. I know a story of a woman. Girl, we're getting deep here now. Really quick though, I'll like summarize it. There was this mom who hated all of her daughter-in-laws. All of them. Hated them. Didn't like them. Never good enough for her sons, blah blah blah, right? One specific one. She didn't like her, did some little black magic or whatever, and that daughter-in-law got super sick. And then that daughter-in-law went to go get cleansed because she didn't know what was going on and the doctors couldn't explain it. After the cleansing, stands up and she's perfectly normal and she's like, "Oh, somebody did something. Let's return it."
Oop,
Well,
that return to
girl,
sender will do it.
girl, literally not even 2 months later, one of her sons falls extremely ill in the hospital. Doctors can't explain it and he's literally about to die. Literally about to die. Daughter-in-law finds out. And she's like, "Well, damn, what if
Sounds
it's
very
this and this?"
familiar.
Yeah, she's like, "Wait a minute." Like, and then sure enough, she went back to the curandera and then she was like, "Well, whoever's close to you and has been going down on a downfall, that's the person who did it." She was like, "Oh, well, you know what? It was my brother-in-law."
Yep.
But this daughter-in-law um had the kind enough heart, obviously, thank God, retract it back, and the son stood up like nothing, went on about his life.
That's about the only justice work I will do because it's not altering free will. It's the fact that you tried to alter my free will and I
Yeah.
return that energy right back to you.
Yep.
I love a good return to sender story.
Girl, that one imagine, like, you out here doing all this brujeria, thinking you're all big and bad, and then when it's a return to you, you ain't that big and bad because now the thing that hurts you the most is about to be gone.
That's crazy
If
though that people don't know that when you do something, there are practices that believe that it comes back to you 3 times worse,
Right.
but then there are practices that believe you need to be well protected
Mhm.
for it to come back to you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like if you don't operate on either of those beliefs, like you're going to get got.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't just go doing magic just to do it.
And you know
The
what
hell?
trips me up? What trips me up is that those people will literally go through something like that. Literally, if you don't take that as a lesson learned to stay away from that stuff, you ain't got no good soul. I'm sorry, but it's like you still gonna play with magic after you almost lost a kid. Whoa.
Well, wait a second, because I'm not done with my story.
Go ahead.
Wait a second,
Go ahead.
because this lady is still being a necia, even though,
Mhm.
remember, she wanted her amarre and she wanted it now.
Right now,
I want
y'all.
my money and I want it now.
Hold on. Lend me my money.
Um, so then the lady goes on to explain, I went ahead and did it. My hands were tied. That's it. I did it. And then I was free of it. She didn't hear anything from the lady anymore. But she did hear the story about what happened after. So this lady found out that the man was going to get married.
Ooh.
She left her kids at home that night, went into town because, small villages are small villages. And once someone's getting married, everyone's going to be there, blah, blah, blah. She
Mhm.
obviously ain't invited. But she took herself to the wedding, caused a scene. Caused a scene. I'm talking like, you're going to leave with me now.
Did she have a gun too?
I don't know what she had. It was a village. I don't know if they have guns there.
I only asked because in that novela scene, I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
But anyways, she got what she wanted. He left with her.
He did?
He
Like for
left
real?
with her.
Like because she was causing a scene or because he
I
was
don't know
convinced?
I don't know why, but he was leaving with her when somebody came up to her and was like, "Dude, your house is on fire."
Did the kids die?
That is such a crazy story.
You see what I'm saying
I need to
though?
credit that podcast and I need to go back and find out
Yeah.
the name of the podcast so I can credit them. But yeah, that's
Wow.
it was I
That's
was like, again, I practice, but I'm not going to be doing no crazy shit
that
like that.
man, that is just something else. That is and at the end of it makes you think like, dude, at the end of the day, the kids had nothing to do with this.
Nope.
Like,
Eh,
what fault did they have because you were so obsessed with some man that didn't even want you?
Yep.
Quit being delusional, y'all. It leads to nowhere.
And the fact is that, you're so delusional in this that you don't realize that the reason why it's not working out is because you're not with who you're meant to be with. Your soulmate
Yes.
is out there waiting for you, and you're over here obsessed with this freaking, I don't know, call him a marrano or something.
Marrano. Sorry, you know what just played in my head right now? That one song from Paquita del Barrio.
Which one?
That one audio that went viral on TikTok. Me estás oyendo, inútil. Um, I forgot what else she said. You know what? We'll find the video, but
I'm done.
it's funny. Anyways, sorry, y'all. I have a bajillion thoughts going through my head right now.
I'm like looking at the time here. Okay. Yes, I mean, we can go all night with this, I know.
Yeah.
But do I believe it exists? Yes. I
Hmm.
practice it, but I don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe in it.
I
I
don't
believe in it.
I don't believe in I don't believe in altering a person's free will. That causes karmic debt that you end up paying back later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I ain't trying to make no pacts with nobody. Okay?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy work right there, y'all. Crazy work.
Yeah, no. And I guess that's why also I do what I do because I want to help people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Mhm. So, this is why elders and spiritual traditions warn people about manipulating love because love created through control is not love, it's possession. And possession always has a cost. Always. But the dream that we talked about earlier reminds us of something important. And I love that these two things tied together and we didn't even plan it out, okay?
Okay.
Love that is real, love that is pure, and love that is freely given does not need spells. It doesn't need chains, it simply continues, even between worlds. Because soulmates do exist,
Yeah.
just like soul ties exist.
Yeah.
The biggest lesson from this story is something people often forget: energy does not disappear. Energy is all around us. It
Mm.
transforms, it moves, it returns. And when something is created from obsession, control, or possession, that energy doesn't magically become love later. Real love is freedom, not a cage.
And there you go. That's that's y'all's advice for today.
All right, my last question. In your opinion, what's the difference between manifesting love and trying to control someone's free will?
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I think manifesting love is should be coming from a place where you're grounded, where you know what you want for yourself, and it's almost like your core values and all your boundaries set in one together, and you're not out here begging for it, you're not looking for it, you're just open and willing to accept what will find you in a good way. Not like anything like, oh, first person I see type thing. No, like,
What is meant for you?
yeah, what is
Yeah.
meant for you? Like, what is meant for B will be, you know? I don't know. I don't think I said that. What is meant for me will be. I think I said what is meant will be will be. I think the same. Okay. Anyways,
If it's meant to be, it'll
there you go.
be, it'll be.
However, the second part, what did you say? The You referenced what was the second
Oh,
part?
the
There was like
I already forgot what I asked you.
you
What is the
said
difference between manifesting love and trying to control someone's free will?
okay, right. So controlling free will, that's coming again from not a grounded state. That's coming from passion, obsession, possessiveness. You're so it's like, oh my gosh, I actually heard a TikTok about this. It's coming from desperation. And that is when
Mhm.
the enemy will always attack desperation. When you're desperate for money, when you're desperate for love, when you're desperate for a new car, a new house. The enemy will always present something that looks so appealing and so like everything that you want. And as soon as you take a bite from it, is no bueno.
There's that low vibrational state of desperation, and there's the demon sneaking in to give you something that's too good to be true.
There you go.
Don't be blinded. Do everything from a grounded state, from a higher frequency.
And manifestation does work because I've done it and it works.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
from a grounded state and it's healthy and it's from a high frequency. It's nothing.
Take money magic, for example. I used to do it from a chaotically desperate state, and it never worked for me. And now that we're on, a financial uh, plan, now that we have goals in place, now that we are making the sacrifices we need to make, now I'm seeing money, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
ooh,
It comes hand in hand. You
yeah.
have to do the work, but the universe can do the work too, but only so much. You got to do it too.
Well, no, the universe will not bend to your
Well,
your
no, no,
wants
no.
if you're not doing it from the state that you need to be in.
That's what I'm saying.
It goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you ain't just gonna say, I need money and I want it now, and you're gonna give it now just because you put the intent out there.
Yeah,
No.
no.
The universe will say, well, hey, you're not ready for it.
Mm-mm.
You have some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with love.
Yeah. Yeah. It works. Promise y'all.
Yep, yep, yep. So if someone listening today is tempted to do an amarre because they're afraid of losing someone, what would you want them to understand before making that choice? It's not
The
worth it.
consequences.
The consequences.
The
And they're not
consequences.
worth it.
And it's not worth it. No, nobody is ever worth it.
If you have to force it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not meant for you.
If you're even questioning doing it, it's like you got to go already. Like,
Yeah. It's like cheating. If you're questioning it, then there's no reason to be there.
yeah. Yeah.
If you're worried about it, then they've given you a reason to worry about it. You don't need to be there.
Yeah. There you go.
Love happens naturally, guys.
Yep.
All right. Love does not need chains. And the moment you try to cage somebody's heart, it stops being love. Today, we talked about two very different spiritual experiences: a dream filled with light and comfort, and a story about the dangers of manipulation. One reminds us that love can transcend life itself, and the other reminds us that control is not love. So, if you enjoyed today's episode of Tiny Table Talk, don't forget to subscribe and share it with somebody who loves exploring the mysteries of dreams, spirituality, and folklore. And remember, not everything unseen is meant to control us. Some things are simply meant to guide us.
Period.
Have a great night.
Y'all have a good one. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and drop your comments and stories if you have any.
Cheers, guys.